Good morning, Africa. Good morning, Europe. Good morning, Asia. Good morning, North America. Good morning, South America. Is it Australia or Australia? I stand to be corrected. Who stay that side? And those who are informed on how to pronounce that, you guys are really great. I welcome you to the Rokani Media Football first video of the day that is coming in through thick and fast. And it's all about Arsenal monitoring Marcus Rashford's situation. Now, you all know what has been happening at Catalonia. Anthony Gordon is the talk about town, and I tell you what, he's one of those that has gone ahead to obviously shock the world because he has made a decision to obviously leave Newcastle and go to Barcelona. As other teams are interested in him, this deal was super fast by Deco, and obviously it went ahead to obviously go on well. And yesterday he was unveiled as a player of Barcelona. That is it. And that is Anthony Gordon in there for you. So, with Anthony Gordon going to the side of Barcelona, and they've gone ahead to pay close to 80-90 million euros, and leaving out a Marcus Rashford, who has gone ahead to obviously get in a lot of goals and put in some huge performance at a side known as Barcelona, has gone ahead to make many speak. And this is where Arsenal, monitoring the situation of Marcus Rashford, has gone ahead to come in through. And they've been wanting to sign this player for some long time. So we are obviously going to be breaking this down. Miles Lewis Skelly, another one who really went ahead to obviously put out a gesture that everyone thought, yeah, he is really trying to do the needful and obviously plan for the day-to-day ahead of the Champions League final. Douglas Luiz has also gone ahead to return back to Juventus in there for you. And those are the three stories you're obviously going to be breaking down into this particular timing in here for you. So let's obviously go eyes and really see what is really happening. Chris Wheeler is a credible journalist. I think he works for the Mail, not so? He writes for the Daily Mail, has told us that Arsenal are closely monitoring Marcus Rashford's situation ahead of a potential move. The Gunners are keeping tabs on developments as uncertainty grows around his future, with a summer decision expected in there for you. Now, Marcus Rashford put out thrilling performances, and one of those that he went ahead to put out saw a team known as Barcelona win the La Liga, right? So a team known as Barcelona win a La Liga, right? They won a La Liga trophy, right? Won an El Clasico, and Marcus Rashford came in through and represented to the fullest. You remember the free kick he scored? It was really one of the best free kicks that you'll ever see in there for you as a player or as a football fan who has been watching the El Clasico for some many times. And even Deco came out and appreciated what Marcus Rashford has gone ahead to obviously put out for the side of Barcelona. And he said they're in good terms with him and they are willing to obviously sign the player. That's what Deco came up and obviously said. You understand? So when Deco came out and obviously said that, everyone was like, all right, let's wait and see how things will pan out in there for you. So Barcelona has gone ahead to surprise Marcus Rashford by spending 90 million euros, right, onto Anthony Gordon. And they've been telling United that they are not in position to pay that money because their financial situation is not great. And from that, they've also gone ahead to go to Atletico Madrid and they want to sign a player known as, what's his name? They want to sign a player, known as, what's the name of that player? Known as Julian Alvarez from Atletico Madrid. And they've gone ahead to make a bid of 100 million euros, meaning that in a space of just 2 days, they are willing to spend 200 million euros. And that has obviously perturbed a player known as Marcus Rashford. And as we speak right now, Arsenal we are monitoring the situation, and soon we'll obviously come in through and see what you're obviously gonna be doing. So they are keeping tabs onto this deal because they know exactly what it means to obviously get in a Marcus Rashford, turning I think 29 this year. And he's a Premier League experienced player. That is it, proven moreover. And Marcus Rashford is a multifunctional player, for your own information, right? He's a multifunctional player for the club of Manchester United. And the big question remains, will United sell Rashford to Arsenal? That is the most important bit of it all. That is it. Will they sell him to Arsenal? Because this player is a multifunctional player. He can play as a right forward. He can play as a left forward. He can play as a center forward. He can also play behind the center forward in there for you. He is, I think, a much more better improved player than Martinelli. I tell you, if Arsenal starts its season with Trossard and Marcus Rashford on the left, I think most of you will be in for it and you'll be ready to see to it that this guy is obviously going to be doing a lot for the club of Arsenal because he scores lots of goals. For example, in the La Liga, 32 games, 8 goals and 7 assists. You know, those are 15 goal involvements. Then UEFA Champions League, 11 matches, 5 goals and 3 assists. So he scored 13 goals and put out 10 assists. The goal involvement, his goal involvement was 23 goals for Marcus Rashford in there for you. So when you look at the Premier League, you know when he scored, I think were they 30 plus goals this season at the club of Man United in the season of Eric Ten Hag, 2022, 2023, Marcus Rashford was scoring for fun. You know that very, very well. So, and he is a player that you know can obviously help Arsenal in big games. Like today, if Arsenal had Rashford onto their squad, there would have gone ahead to be that excitement because Rashford always shines in big games and it's like he specialized in tormenting big teams in there for you. He's a player that you're 100% sure of coming in through and obviously getting you 20, 30 goals this season. That is it. Marcus Rashford for you. And one problem that I have with him is not tracking back, you know, he's lazy, right? And then his end product of the game, he's a selfish player. Yet, when you're having number 9s like Gyökeres, you understand, you need to feed them to see to it that they obviously create and really, you have to give them goals and you have to create chances for them and see to it that all really goes on well as planned. So for me, my worry for Marcus Rashford is that he is a selfish player and it's rare for him to put out assists, and having 8 assists at Barcelona and some good 4 or 5 in the Champions League really surprises me because he is a selfish player that I've gone ahead to know for some long time. That is Marcus Rashford for you. So that is Rashford for you, and Arsenal monitoring the situation, and Arsenal is playing the Champions League final today. I tell you, when Arsenal gets done, right? When the Champions League final is done, Arsenal will come up and obviously put out a very huge statement on Sunday. They'll do what we call the trophy parade. After the trophy parade, Monday, Arsenal will obviously try to attack the situation of the summer transfer signings that they are really looking up to. Obviously, they need a midfielder, they need a center forward, they need a left forward, they need a right back. So far, those are 4 players that they're really looking at. But you won't be shocked when they obviously get in even others that you least expected them to go in for, because it's time for them to go in for finished articles to obviously come in through and put out a situation that everyone will obviously want. So for me, if I'm Arsenal, I can take Rashford. That is it. I can take Rashford because he is an improved Martinelli. That is it. He's an improved Martinelli because he is fast and his skill set is better than that of Gabriel Martinelli, and he has been playing at a big team, Manchester United. He has gone at Barcelona. He has scored in the El Clasico, and Marcus Rashford himself has gone ahead to obviously win a La Liga, winning mentality up there. He now has the mentality of winners. And obviously, you'll need that player that has done it before into your club. Replacing him with Gabriel Martinelli for me would be a very huge boost. And the price will be like 30, 40 million pounds. To me, getting in a homegrown player for like 30 or 40 million pounds, to me, will be a bargain for the club of Arsenal. And these are sort of signings that Arsenal should obviously go in for. Like they went in for Mikel Merino, you understand. And things have gone ahead to pay off very well. Leandro Trossard, you understand. And Trossard is older than Marcus Rashford, and they got him for 27 million pounds. So if Arsenal is told to get in 13 more to obviously get in Marcus Rashford, I think to me it works all best for the club of Arsenal. I don't know what you think about it, but to me it works all best for the club of Arsenal. So guys, thank you very much for watching it through, and we leave it at that. And let's get to another story. Douglas Luiz, right? The player that was at Aston Villa hit the ground running, and everyone was like, that boy. Everyone was like, that player. And to me, I'm disappointed in him. And when he was going to Juventus, I was one of the people who never supported his idea to go to Juventus. You remember that very well. I never, at any one point, really supported it. Never did I. Never did I support it, because I knew what he's obviously going to be facing there. You understand? Now, the player is having problems. You understand? And those problems have been caused by him not listening to what would have gone ahead to be the people that really love his career. If I was Douglas Luiz, there is no way I would have gone ahead to make a decision to obviously go ahead and really go to Italy. Having gone ahead, obviously hit the ground running in the Premier League, I would have gone ahead to push in for a Premier League move. And I think very many Premier League clubs would have gone ahead to obviously get him a place in their teams. You know, Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, name it. But the problem he faced was his agent. I think his agent is an amateur. That is it. If his agent was not an amateur, there is no way you obviously tell this guy to obviously go ahead and really play in Italy, yet he's shining in the Premier League. And at the point when he left the Premier League, he was one of the best midfielders, all-rounder. He could play as a 6, could play as an 8, he could play as a number 10. And guess what? At Aston Villa, he was occasionally or usually called for the Brazilian national team. He missed out on the World Cup today because of his poor choice that he made to go ahead and really play at Juventus. Drop off in form and not good news for him. So for me, Douglas Luiz and his agent went ahead to obviously make a very bad decision. And Fabrizio Romano told us that Douglas Luiz returns to Juventus from Aston Villa. Loan. Aston Villa won't make the deal permanent at 25 million euros. By option clause won't be activated. So look at that. Look at that. 25 million euros in there for you. So I think I'm really feeling bad for the player, but it's up to him and his agency, because they went ahead to make that howler and it is really costing them bad. You know, you don't sell your player to a side like you don't sell your player to a side like Juventus that is struggling, and inconsistency has been part of them in the recent 5-6 seasons. If you know, you know. That is it. So that's what we have in here for you. And let's go to Miles Lewis Skelly. Miles Lewis Skelly went ahead to do something after the game of football, after the training session of Arsenal at the Puskas Stadium. You see, he went ahead and sat there. And that is Miles Lewis Skelly. Stayed behind for a few extra moments at the Puskas Arena after Arsenal's final training session this evening, taking it all in, appreciating the stage, the atmosphere ahead of the Champions League final. So he was meditating, and he was seated at the center. And to me, that sends me a message that he's going to start. And he was like, oh God, be good to me. tomorrow when I really get into this pitch to face PSG. Let the best that you've always saved for me appear, all be showcased today. And that is a gesture that will obviously be remembered. By the way, if Arsenal win the trophy, you will see this gesture, that photo, cropped with a photo of him seated there with a Champions League trophy. Now, last season, Luiz Skelly went ahead to play until the semi-finals, right? And memorably, that game where he played at the Bernabeu, because many people are like, you don't know Bernabeu, you don't know Bernabeu. He has never played at Bernabeu. He's still young, and obviously Madrid will capitalize onto that. Now, when Arsenal went to Bernabeu, they instead beat Madrid. You understand? Madrid was instead beaten. So, the lad is ready for the big stage, and that is Luiz Skelly, and he has sat there to meditate for today's game. Rokani David is my name. Hope you guys are really having fun wherever you're watching us from. Smash the like button, comment, and share. If you're totally watching us for the very first time, please subscribe, and you won't regret. Your thoughts on Arsenal monitoring Marcus Rashford situation are welcome in the comment section below. What do you think about Douglas Luiz and Luiz Skelly's act, sitting at the center of the pitch where everything is going to be settled today in Budapest, Hungary? Puskas Arena. We will be bringing you updates from that side. Bye-bye.